can you find that bottle?
Let's give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah Ba'Shem Yahusha, John 5:39, and then Job chapter 9, verse 1. Go sit down somewhere, Renee. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. Hold on. Somebody give me a phone. Kakira on the line. I forgot that. So you know that's what we start with. That's what our whole purpose is. Y'all remember Numbers 21, they tell you that in the law. By the instruction of the lawgiver, you're supposed to dig and search it out in the book. Job 9 and 1 though. Yeah, somebody got to have a non-T-Mobile phone for them.
T-Mobile got to see me about that 1 cent.
And then you got to call them.
I am.
So they say that's not a part of our plan.
It's been a part of my plan. Y'all changed y'all plan?
I ain't changed mine.
Hey, so I don't know what's going on.
I guess T-Mobile changed their rules. You don't like it. Drop a dime on you niggas.
Two of y'all niggas calling the same number.
Job 9 and 1. So understand that this is Job speaking. Job answered and said, I know it is so of a truth, but how should a man be just with Alahym? Now he asked the question, how can a man be just with Alahym? You know what I'm saying? Let's sit back and see what the book say. Let's look at 1 Peter 3 and 17. I don't know if that, man. Renee, go sit down somewhere. First Peter 3 and 18. Say, how can a just be right with Allah? Say, how can a man be just with Alahym? That's the question that he asked. How should a man be just with Alahym? Let's look at 1 Peter 3 and 18. It says, for Mashiach have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Alahym, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Ruach. So that's the first way that we're going to be able to make ourselves just with Alahym, is be put to death to the flesh and made alive by the Ruach. See, here's something else that
Hey.
we sit back and look at. Let's come back to Romans chapter 4.
Leah.
Look at Romans chapter 4 and about verse 13. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the Torah, but through the righteousness of faith. For if they which were of the Torah be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise of none effect. Because the Torah worked wrath. For where no Torah is, there is no transgression. Therefore it is of faith that it might be by favor, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not only to which is of the Torah, but to that also which is of faith of Abraham, who was the father of us all. See, the reason why he mentioned this here, because this bring the other nations in. You know, we looked at that earlier in the week, like with Rahab. Rahab ain't know nothing about nothing. She said, I heard of Yahuwah. Everybody was terrified. So she said, I'm trying to get down with y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way the men in the book of Joshua, when they came with the moldy bread and the little junkie stunt that they pulled, because they heard. Therefore, they believed it. They said, we trying to jump down with y'all. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no law. See, like you say, man, you say, you know, dudes will sit back and look crazy when we tell them outright, the gospel is not the law. If you say that the gospel is the law, you lack understanding. If you lack understanding, you are worthy of death. You understand what I'm telling you? That's the one key thing we always need to remember. If you lack understanding, you ought to die. You know what I'm saying? And dudes don't really grasp that concept. Like I say, okay, dudes was arguing about a particular topic saying, hey, you never seen Yahusha say he was the son of Yahuwah, but the son of Alahym, because he is Yahuwah, and the father is Alahym, don't nobody know his name. Okay, if that's what you want to roll with, go ahead and roll with it. He gave some scripts for it. I might go through them and disseminate it and sit back and show you what you talking about don't line up with this testimony. Because this man said he came in his father's name, so he came in his own name. Because he didn't come in the name of Alahym, he came in the name of Yahuwah. He spoke the man's name. He came in the attributes of Yahuwah when the man declared his name. I understand their concept. I understand what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that to get twisted. Like you just said, I mean, I see where they're coming from. But then it makes our God seem schizophrenic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it do. When you have people that sit around all the time looking for reasons to attack this book, that therefore they could discredit it and therefore overthrow the faith of many. You know what I'm saying? I don't think sometimes Jews really realize that, because they more than likely sincere in what they talking about. That's how they see it at this particular time. That makes sense to them. You know what I'm saying? But then they're not realizing what you opening yourself up for. And they can say certain things, but I'm not completely sure that they can defend it as staunchly as they think they can. I say, because I asked the gentleman for scripts, and he was like, I already gave them. And if you lack understanding, that's not the response. Because you should have just ran it down. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have told him to call my phone, but I know you weren't going to call my phone. So just run it down. That's why I be telling you certain stuff. You throw something out there, you got to be able to run it down. See, I ain't even talking about, you know what I'm saying? Because you could come up and cause a conversation. Somebody asks you why you believe what you believe, or why do you state that, or why do you do that. You supposed to know to be able to run that down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about just trying to teach nobody nothing. Somebody say, why you do this here? You know, you ain't got to remember the book and the chapter and the verse, but you ought to know what the words say, though. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up on, I need to show it to him in Exodus such and such. As long as you know what it says. You know what I'm saying? My Alahym said this. My father said this. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said. That's why I do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up in the technicality aspect, so you need to feel like you need to put it precept on precept and present it. And no less, man, this is here, man. This is what it say, nigga. That's what I'm on. And if you can't understand what I'm talking about, I know a few people who can explain it to you in a better fashion. Simple as that. But look at verse 17, though. Or 6 to 17. As it is written, I have made thee the father of many nations, before whom he believed, even Alahym, who quickened the dead and called those things which be not as though they were. What do you think we sit back and look at? He said, how can a man be just with Alahym? He said, he called those things which are not as if they were there. Now, what you think that could be? You got an idea? He said, he calls those things which are not as if it's already happened. Like he told Abraham he was going to have a child as if it was already done. As if Isaac was sitting right there with him. See, the reason why I mention this is because I'm actually looking at it as it pertains to us, because he's saying quicken the dead. And we talking about how can a man be just with Alahym. And he say Mashiach suffered for the unjust so that you could be put to death in the flesh and be quickened to Alahym. It's something that we looked at in the past. You know, y'all got an idea what I might be thinking about? This man say literally, he calls those things that were not as if they were. I'm going to show you what I mean. Go to Genesis chapter 1. Let me show you what I mean. 1 and about 14. It's all right, fat man. She got you. You know, Mom Deuce come through in the clutch for you, man. It says, Alahym said, let there be lights in the firmament of Shamaim to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the Shamaim to give a light upon their rats. And it was so. And Alahym made 2 great lights, the great light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also. Now, what is that important of what we just looked at? This one particular thing that I came there for. We just read a little bit more than what I actually wanted.
He said, let there be light.
He said he set lights in the firmament.
Yeah.
But you know what the last thing, what do you know what he said? He made what? The stars as well. Johnny, you know what the stars are? And when you look at it in the Hebrew word for that, you know what the stars are actually talking about?
No, not really. I
It's,
don't know.
it's the sons of Alahym is what it's talking about. Now, he said he called those stars as if they was, even before he made them. Because he said they were lights. You know why we looking at this? Who got an idea why we looking at this? You got an idea what I'm angling at, sir? Let's look at something in Ephesians chapter 1 so I can show y'all what I'm angling at.
I see our faith, power in the tongue.
Do y'all remember when we look? Well, look at Psalms 139 first. Let me do that. Psalms 139 and 16. He said, thy eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book All my members were written, which were in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. So he's sitting back. Is this not him calling something that was before it was? Because he say all of your members were written in the book before they were yet fashioned. It wasn't none of them. So now what do y'all think I'm angling at?
I formed you from the womb.
You looking at that there are people that were predestinated to be saved. That before you were even formed to be saved, I called it as if it already was, even though you weren't there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's going into 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 13. What I'm angling at is there's some people that are, like we talked about yesterday, about, you know what I'm saying, the vessels of wrath. There's people that have already been set that they're going to be at that marriage supper of the Lamb. He done formed you for that call. You have vessels of mercy that his long suffering and goodness might be known on them.
Stop.
2 Thessalonians 2 and 13. He said, but we are bound to give thanks always to Alahym for you, brethren, beloved of Yahuwah, because Alahym have from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Ruach and belief of the truth, whereunto he called you by our preaching to the obtaining of esteem of our master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Ain't nobody brought no phone, hit that thing to call for Kira. Everybody here got a T-Mobile phone? Dang.
I got T-Mobile. I got Will, I think. Will, I'm trying.
What Will phone?
But John, who you got?
T-Mobile.
Everybody got T-Mobile.
We got AT&T.
Yeah, where his phone at?
Who Will I am with? I thought it was up there in the front posted.
No.
He may be posted in them.
Now you see how he said that from the beginning you were chosen? You know, huh?
So he may be posted in the skipper.
He might be on the loop.
Oh, he's on the pot. So he's making a stanky.
My man don't blast like that.
Everybody makes a pot. It's like where everybody's grown.
Some people multiple times a day.
Who you tell? Ain't no shame in taking a dump. The problem come in when you don't take them.
Yeah, when you're not taking it, that's when you need to worry about it.
Because that's when it start coming out your mouth.
What? Doo-doo breath.
Alright.
And your pores.
Let's change the subject. You on the record.
And
Basic health. Some people may need to realize they
we
need
talk
to
about
have
more vulgar things than that. It's just a little poo. Little poo ain't never hurt nobody.
Well,
No, it might make you uncomfortable and nasty, but it ain't never hurt nobody.
what about pink eye?
I don't know how poo and pink eye go together, but I'm going to skip on by that.
That's because somebody brought on your pillow. He gonna wake up with that pink eye.
Nigga fought on the pillow, nigga just disrespected you.
Yeah, pink eye.
In Ephesians chapter 1, he tell you how he's predestinated you to the adoption of children by Yahushua HaMashiach. See, the master told you you can't come to the Father but by him. He also told you that no man know the Father save the Son, to whomever the Son will reveal him. So he said, how should a man be just with Alahym? Because a lot of people, 1 John chapter 1 and verse 5, or verse 7. A lot of people always say this here, and they quote this verse, but we're trying to turn around to how we can be just or upright or blameless before Alahym. We read last night where you're talking about he going to purge Jerusalem of the blood. And what it be able to do to purge that from that blood, he say, man, knowing this man coming to burn everything up, he said, make sure you be found without spot and blameless and set apart behavior before him, which means you got to be upright. You know, we were talking about it earlier. You know, people say, you know, I can't do it by myself. See, people look at the law as that the law is not the issue. He say what the people get twisted is he's trying to express to you, as we read what Paul stated, the law is not of faith. The law work wrath. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go against it, this man has to do what he said he gonna do to you. You know what I'm talking about? That's not a promise that he made to you. This is a list of instructions and the consequences and repercussions for going against those instructions. But there were promises made before he gave you those instructions. There were promises made as he was giving you those instructions. You know what I'm saying? What most people miss is the promises that were being made as the instructions were being given. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give Abraham no instructions. He made a promise to him. He didn't know what I'm talking about. Now, Isaac and Jacob had already been taught the instructions by their fathers, but he made a promise with these men. You know what I'm saying? Even when he came to Moses, he said, I'm coming to fulfill the promise that I made with these three men. You know what I'm saying? And then in the midst of Moses giving the law, before he dropped the law on them in the 20th chapter of Exodus, he was expressing some of these promises to these people. They didn't remember any of these promises. They didn't want any of these promises. That's why I say this is a children in whom had no faith. This is the biggest issue. Like I say, man, dudes, you don't be real smart, real learning the word, real study, know all the Hebrew. Don't believe not a single solitary word of it, though. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong with learning. You're always supposed to be learning as long as you're alive. But when we talk about dealing with this word, you're supposed to be learning it for the purpose of being transitioned from being a carnal being to a spiritual being. And that therefore faith should be manifested in that. Because he say the just shall live by their faith. This is how a man should be just with Alahym. But dudes don't recognize that and see that. And when you talk about that, they take it as a faith concept from the Christian church type stuff, what you talking about. But it's a concrete firmness in the man whom you profess to serve, that he will do what he said he will do. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do be missing. The faith ain't, I just believe in Jesus. That's what they be thinking that you own when you say that. You know what I'm saying? You saying that, I know that he will not suffer me to see corruption. See, that was faith when this man was expressing that about the master in the 16th song. This man say, I know you will not suffer my soul to dwell in the grave where I would be corrupted by worms and be left to nothing. I trust that you will lift me up out of here like you said you would. You know what I'm talking about? I trust that you say, if I do this right here, this is what you're going to give me. You know what I'm talking about? I trust that if I believe on this man whom you told me to believe, every word that come out of his mouth, you'll give me this. You know what I'm talking about? And in the midst of giving me this is because I will do what this man who you told me to believe on said to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they be missing. It's not what them niggas think. You know what I'm saying? This man said, I'm not a man that I should lie, nor the son of a man that I should repent. If I said it, should I not do it? That man said, the strength of Yasharal is not a man that he should repent. I ain't got no reason to turn around from doing what I said I was going to do. That's what you niggas do. You niggas say you're going to turn around and do this and then go over here and do that. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what dude missing. Do you trust what the man, like I told y'all the other day, you can't love somebody who you don't trust. That's impossible. If you say you love somebody, you have to trust them. If you don't trust them, that means you don't love them. And most people who say they love you, they don't trust them, therefore they don't love him. Do you know what I'm saying? Period. Because if you trusted him, you do what he say. You'll go, you wouldn't even ask. Abraham ain't asked now question. You know what I'm saying? Ain't asked now question. He just went. So you know, let's just say something come in your heart. You know if it's going, once you see the direction you going, if it take you outside the word, then you already know that ain't the word Yahuwah spoke. Let me go ahead and hit them breakers. That ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. Because he ain't told me to do that. I know he ain't going to lead me over here to do that. If you get led over there to do that, that means you either retarded or you supposed to go to hell. Straight up though. Come on back to Job chapter 9 though. There was something else in my head. I can't recall what it was. We in verse 2 though. Listen to what he says in verse 2 of Job chapter 9. I know I done went over some of this stuff in Job chapter 9 before. Just specific points. Not the whole thing. He said, if he will contend with him, he cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, and who have hardened himself against him and have prospered. Now look at what he just asked, the question that he asked. Who has hardened themselves against Alahym and got gain? Well, let's look at Sunday, James chapter 1, verse 21, and then begin to sit back and look at what he stated. Because you know what Hebrews chapter 3 say about what hardens your heart.
Pride.
Sin. He say the deceitfulness of sin hardens your heart. You know what I'm talking about? Because he said, whose heart has been hardened and he prospered. Now you think about that. Who has went against the word and got gain?
Oh, and who knows?
It's a worldly gain.
He's sitting back looking at that ain't even no gain.
Oh, and whatever.
Because he told you something in Job, the 20th chapter. He said the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. So you happy for a second. He said, who is hardened his heart and prosper? That's why the master told you, what profits a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Because your heart has been hardened. What gain did you get? None.
And think not that since I have not repaid you speedily. That
Oh, my bad. We need to read that 1 John 1 and 7. My bad. 1 John 1 and 7, praise y'all. It worked out well before we look at this James 1:21 though. He said, look at verse 6. Matter of fact, 5. 1 John 1 and 5. He says this. This then is the message we have heard of him and declare unto you that Alahym is light and in him is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, his son, cleanse us from all sin. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. If you say you ain't got no sin, your heart is hardened right then, and you know you ain't going to get no gain because your sins ain't going to be forgiven you. So you sit back and look at, you know where hard is, man. You know where hard and all the scribes and Pharisees heart, they didn't believe. That's the same hallmark and sat back of what you seen in the wilderness. Because he said, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart. See, people's heart is hardened because they don't hear the word. So that means they don't believe it. Which means they could never be just with Alahym. You know what I'm saying? It's a simple fact of this here, right? Your people told you all the time, a hard head leads to a soft behind. Because you didn't want to listen. You didn't really believe that your parents were going to do to you what they said they were going to do to you if you didn't do what they told you to do. If your people told you don't go outside, I'm going to whoop you, you went out there anyway because you thought that they wasn't actually going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Then when they actually came and whooped your behind, they made you out to be a believer.
Or you think you sneaky enough to get away, and that's just as bad.
Indeed, but see, the key thing is, though, the difference is, see, we talking about at a natural level. That ends up happening because you've carried that mentality with you as a child and a preteen and a teenager into an adult. Then you find out about the word. Then you think you could try Yahuwah like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like, okay, he'll whoop me a couple times. And then it's that and the third. See, he might sit back and look at, I'm going to go ahead and harden your heart now. And you're done. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't believe what I said. Because you didn't believe that you'll get the benefit of doing what I told you to do. And you didn't believe that the wrath that I said I was going to bring upon you for bucking me was coming. See, your ancestors heard all them curses, and they didn't believe that man was going to do it. Because if they did, they wouldn't have tried it. You got to understand? See, sin lied to you and make you think. You sit back, we could go right back into the garden with this in the law. What did it prosper her when her heart was hardened? She died. She died. You didn't get no gain. When you sit back and look at Esau, his heart was hardened. He didn't want that birthright. What was his gain? He was rejected. Verse 8. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say that we have not sinned, we make him a liar and his word is not in us. See, a lot of brothers sit back and look at when you say, okay, I deny myself from committing sin. They take it as if you're saying, I've never done it. Yep. That's not what I said, nigga.
I don't do it no more.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the same way they say, hey, I told a dude yesterday, I smoked weed for 20 years. I don't smoke anymore. I ain't saying I ain't never smoked no weed. I smoked enough weed probably for the both of y'all in this back seat. You know what I'm saying? But I don't smoke it no more. That's all it is. It's not that. That's the same way I used to work at Burger King. I don't work there anymore. It's not saying I never worked there. I just don't work there anymore. It's not that hard. I used to go to high school. I don't see how that concept is formed. You're just telling them, I used to behave this way. Stop. You know what I'm saying? It was funny because I think it was a Jay-Z quote that Nisha had put on out there, man. But it's like this here, right? Niggas work so hard to stay in the same place that they think a nigga strange when you putting work in to change those. But that's how niggas really operate, though. Like, it's people that you know that are exactly the same and been exactly the same from the day that you met them. Ain't no growth, no nothing. And you already know if something ain't growing, what it's doing. You know what I'm saying? So you sit back and this is something that each and every one of y'all do on your own time. You sit back and look at yourself from the time you began hearing the word, are you the same? You know what I'm saying? Has there been a growth? Has there been a change? Or are you stagnant? Because if you stagnant, you know what stagnant water is? I told you about that. Stagnant water smells bad.
Ride around the building, smell it.
It gives off a bad aroma. You think the Father want to come down there looking for a sweet savor and smell stagnant water? He gonna let toss that out. You got to sit back and look at it like that, though. James chapter 1, man, verse 21. We got to sit back and see. You don't want your heart to be hardened. So we can sit back and look at something. Saul's heart was hardened. Eve's heart was hardened. Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Uzziah's heart was hardened. What gain did they get? Nothing. See, just because we short on time, we don't have the time to actually look back and read all these people's stories. We read about Shimei. His heart was hardened. How was Saul's heart hardened? What prosperous? How did he gain? Everything y'all told him to do, he didn't do it. His heart was hard to his own destruction. What that is? Cake? Pie?
Don't worry about it.
Cake pie? I like cake and pie. Brownies too. That's what that is. I need one. That's all I'm saying. Somebody need to get in there and whip him. That's all I'm saying. But I'm seriously though. Look at Eve. Her heart was hardened. It caused her to die.
Oh, I know what it is. I bet you do. I sat on it.
I thought that was Stanley Whistle for a minute.
I sat. My bad, y'all.
Look at the other thing. Look at King Uzziah. His heart got lifted up in him. He got hard, and he went in there to offer incense and became a leper till he died. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look what happens when your heart gets hard and what gain you get. Like I say, Esau's heart got hardened to the point he hated his birthright and got himself rejected. James 1:21.
Yeah, everything all right. I just set on my key fob. Heard? Yeah, everything all right. I just set on my key fob. I think it's kitten. My name is the white bar.
Sit down, Pop. Say, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your souls. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Because we already seen what hardens your heart. Because remember, he hardened Pharaoh's heart. He say, who is Yahuwah? I don't know no Yahuwah. Well, what the book say you don't know Yah is because you don't keep his commandment. And what is his first commandment? Hear my voice.
Shama.
See, hold this right here. I think it's Jeremiah chapter 7, my one. Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 21. Matter of fact, make it 19. Make it 17. Jeremiah 7 and 17. See thou not what they do in the cities of Yehuda and the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the queen of Alahym, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith Yahuwah? Do they not provoke themselves to confusion of their own faces? This is why he said you need to hear the word, and not only hear it, but do it, or you deceive your own self. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, behold, my anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man, upon beast, upon the tree of the field, upon the fruit of the ground. It shall burn and shall not be quenched. Which lines up with why the master say, if there be a fire be kindled, who am I to stop it? See, he told you that in John chapter 12, verse 49. I mean, Luke, my apologies. Might be verse 50. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Alahym of Yasharal, put your burnt offerings unto your sacrifices and eat flesh. Y'all know what he's telling you on that? What y'all think that mean when he say put your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat flesh?
Eat the body of the master.
No, he telling you, nigga, keep your sacrifices and go make a meal. That's what he telling you. He said, you go ahead, keep that, just go eat. Don't even bring that around here.
Yeah, but he said I didn't command them.
We finna tell you that. We finna read it. He say, for I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Mizraim concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices. Man, ain't never told them nothing about that. That ain't what he cared. You notice when he brought them out, he didn't say nothing to them about sacrifices until he went to talking to the Levites. When he went to talking about burnt offerings and sacrifices, he was talking to the Levites then. When he brought them about the Mizraim, he didn't say nothing to them about that. I don't care nothing about that. That's why he say, burnt offerings and sacrifices thou did not desire, but a body thou hast made. He never wanted that. He never cared about that. That wasn't his desire. But like we be telling brothers what they don't understand, those things were made so he didn't have to kill you. Because there's some blood got to be shed. You shedding blood in the land, you committing sin. Somebody's blood got to be shed. So in order not to shed yours, go grab that bull and that goat. And you're supposed to remember when you were bringing that bull and that goat that that's supposed to be you. But see, don't nobody sit back and think that. That's why these dudes say you don't need no blood for atonement. You can just say, I repent from my sin and offer the calves of your lips because you ain't looking at, you supposed to be dead right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, since a sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it's privily in the hearts of the sons of men to do evil. Because he don't murk you right then and there, you think you can get off. He say, but this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your Alahym, and you shall be my people. Walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it might be well unto you. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear, walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backwards and not forward. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Mizraim unto this day, have I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Therefore thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. This is what he's telling you about these people. Like, you niggas don't listen. You don't listen. This man, and you see where that obey my voice come in at? Because if you believed in me, then you would listen to me. But instead you believed in the imagination of your own evil and wicked heart and walked in that recommended counsel. Therefore you confused your own space and lied to yourself. That's why you say, what profit of man if his heart be hardened? See, everybody sit back and you look at, I'm getting this. You know, I want to be with this woman. I want to be with this man. I want to do this, and you getting it. But in the fourth of you getting it, you didn't hear my voice. Go to Hebrews chapter 3 real fast, man. I'll go ahead and read it. Hebrews 3 and 7. He said, wherefore, as the Ruach HaKodesh saith, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me and proved me and saw my works 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Well, have you known? Because you didn't believe it. Because he said, if you will hear my voice, that means you will believe what I'm saying to you. Do you actually believe what he's saying to you? Come on back to James chapter 1, verse 21. See, that's what brews don't want to look at. Every time you hear brew, what they say. See, it's about them laws, huh? It's about them laws. See, we got to teach them laws. Nigga don't take but a few minutes to teach no laws, man. You can teach somebody the laws in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? If you get somebody, I don't say, I give it a month. You get some people and you come through 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You can teach them the law in a month. You can teach them the law in a month. Like all 613 instructions, you can teach them that in a month. Don't take that long. You know what I'm saying? You say you sit them down probably about 2.5 hours at a time, 3 times a week. Oh yeah, you knock that out in a month. Then after that, then what? Because that law is not going to generate a heart of faith. It's not going to generate that. You just know, don't do this, don't do that. If I do this, I get murdered. If I do this, I bring this. But you know what happens when you just focus on the law? No understanding comes forth out of that. Unless you take it and actually use it to show who has been made your understanding, which is the Son of the living Alahym. Then you can understand this right here, right? He say, with getting wisdom, but with all I get and get understanding. That means understand the plan of salvation. Once you've got skill to know how to fight, then you need to understand why you are fighting and what you will get at the end of that battle. And understand why the man who has been made unto you wisdom, who's given you the ability to, why do you think y'all say he teaches my hands to war? Because Hamashiach has taught you how to fight the fight of faith. He done taught you how to do this. But you need to understand why he had to come to teach you this in the first place. See, dudes look at understanding. The understanding, they know they see the Yasharah. They know they're Israelite. That's not understanding. Understanding, we already know this. We say it all the time. The son of Alahym is come and giving us an understanding. You're supposed to understand the plan of salvation. If you don't understand that, you are worthy of death. Because that means you don't actually believe in your Alahym. And in due time, your heart will be hardened. And you will turn from him and you will not obey his voice because you don't believe his voice. When you see a lot of people who turn from the word, it's because they never got anything that would generate a heart of faith for them. Therefore, their heart been hardened and they turn from it. You know what I'm saying? Now, those who actually heard something to generate a heart of faith and they turned from it is because they never believed it when they heard it. See, we were looking at a brother with stating something, and it's true, niggas do it. That they say, okay, when most people leave a congregation, people slander them and bad talk them. Which a lot of niggas do now. Like, people ain't did. Mainly he talking about, okay, the elders teaching stuff and they don't know what they talking about. Or a nigga done slept with somebody's wife. Or did this, that, and the third. And then these men slander these people's name really to cover up what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And that does happen. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas do that. But on the flip side, it's sometimes niggas leave and they done did something sour. You know what I'm saying? And people are just stating what they have done. And then, oh, you slandering me. Or you making people turn them. Don't get me wrong, though, because I seen it. The brother made a post about it, and that's real talk. Boy, these people at IUIC, they'll post something, tell you, delete a nigga. Don't talk to him. This, that, there, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't tell you nobody to do nobody like that because they chose not to come around no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't do people like that. But also at the same token, I will say this. That if somebody leaves and they were really evil or unbelieving, they're not going to reach out and contact you too much more after that anyway. You know what I'm saying? To be completely honest. Now, if somebody depart, like they said, this brother say dude was sleeping with the women, niggas' wives, down there in Miami where he was at. And they were addressing that and nobody handled that. And that's why they decided to leave. Could you be mad at them for that? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? But the individuals around them who covering up this nigga, knocking niggas' wives down, of course they gonna bad talk these people. They don't want you to know they knocking niggas' wives down. James, and you know why they knocking niggas' wives down? Because of James 1:22. That's why they knocking niggas' wives down. He say, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he behold himself and go his way, and straightway forget what manner of man he was. That's the only reason why that's going to happen, because your heart been hardened. He say, but whoso look into the perfect Torah of freedom and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the word, this man shall be baruched in his deed. See, he'll get a gain or a profit in what he's doing because he believed it. Therefore, the just live by their faith. It's just that simple. Come on back to Job chapter 9. We're in verse 4. We're in verse 5, actually. He say, which remove the mountains and they know not, which overturn them in his anger, which shake the earth out of her place and the pillars thereof tremble, who command the sun and it rise not, and seal up the stars, which alone spread out the Shamahim and tread upon the waves of the sea, which make Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, who do great things past finding out, yea, and wonders without number. Lo, he go by him, and I see him not. He pass on also, but I perceive him not. Now, what do y'all think he means when he's sitting here telling you he shakes the earth out of her place and the pillars tremble? Then he tells you he commands the sun and it rise not, and he seals up the stars.
When they say seal up the stars, that brings me to us receiving the seal.
That's what he's talking about. Because we are, if you pay attention, we already talked about this. He said he called those things which are not as if they were. And we went and looked at how he called them stars as if they were. Because the plan was, remember, the land was slain from the foundation of the world. So them stars were already called before he called them. He said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew thee. You know what I'm telling you? So then you sit back and you look at seal up the stars. Remember how we read the other day, he sat back and said, don't hurt the wine and oil. You know what I'm saying? Don't touch that. Don't hurt that. See, now let's look at Ephesians chapter 1 now. Probably about verse 12. Hold Job 9 though, because it's a couple other things in there.
shaking the pillars.
1 and 11. Ephesians 1 and 11. He said, "In whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who work all things after the counsel of his own will, that we should be the praise of his esteem, who first trusted in Mashiach, whom he also trusted that after you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, whom also after you believed, you were sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh of promise." See, remember what Peter told him. They say, "What shall we do?" And he said, "Men and brethren, repent and be immersed, every one of you, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, and receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh." You know the reason why the men did that? Because they believed. When he preached that word to them about what happened to this man, how he had to die and resurrect, and how these people killed him, they believed that. And they say, "What is the thing that we have to do so this man's blood is not upon us?" That's why I asked you what I asked you. Because see, in Acts chapter 8, when the Ethiopian eunuch was getting the word preached to him by Philip, he asked Philip, he said, "What hindereth me to be immersed?" Philip looked at him and said, "Nothing. Do you believe that Yahushua the son of Alahym?" He said, "Yeah, I believe." He said, "There's water right there." He said, "Well, come on then." See, when we look at immersion, see, it's like this here, right?
Hey.
It's a lot of organizations that they'll sit back and they'll look at immersing somebody based on whatever decision, when they feel like that person is ready. I'll immerse you when I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're ready. It's a lot of Hebrew groups do it. You gotta also remember, it's a lot of Hebrew groups don't immerse people at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm speaking for me personally. This ain't no digs or no shots at nobody, because people do what they want to do. I will move to do it when you sit back and look. Do you believe on this man as the scripture have said? And do you fully understand what you are embarking on? You understand what I'm saying? If you fully understand what you're embarking on and what you're joining yourself to, then who am I to hinder you? You understand what I'm telling you? If you done heard this man preach and you say, "I believe he's the son of Alahym," who am I to say that you gotta wait? It's simple as that. Do you believe it? Yeah. Then go ahead, let's get it then. Do you? Because then if you say you believe it, then you're understanding what you're involved in and what you're about to do. You're understanding that you're being put to death in the flesh to be made alive under Alahym through Mashiach, and that you will live for him from that point forward, walking in the footsteps of his son, because you heard, understood, and believed the testimony. Simple as that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's simple as that. That's how I view it. That's how I see it. That's how I rock with it. So when we sit back and say he's sealing the star, what do you think that means when he say make this thing tremble? Come on over here to Revelation chapter 5, man. And then after that, Revelation 14, even though it's referring to the 144. I just want y'all to see something though. I'll show you what he's talking about, making the pillars tremble. When he sat back, he shake the earth out of her place and the pillars tremble. He command the sun and it rise not. What is it? Revelation 6, I should say. About verse 12. And beheld, when he opened the sixth seal, lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of Shamahin fell into the arats, even as the fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the Shamahin departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island moved out of their places. See, remember he told you in Haggai, not only will I shake the earth, but I'll shake Shamahin also. So this is how the earth is shaken and the pillars tremble. Because he's shaking out her foundation. He said the earth would go to and fro like a drunkard.
That's that great earthquake
that he told you about in Zechariah 14. Because he going to shake it. He just told you the sun will be made like sackcloth. He going to tell it now to even rise. It's going to rise now. He telling you about his son returning. This is why he say, who going to be able to hearken when he hard? When you hard your heart, what profit you going to get? All these people that go after the beast, their heart going to be hardened. Their heart going to be hard from hearing the truth. They're going to follow an imposter. Revelation 14. About verse 1. And lo, I looked, And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from Alahym as the voice of many waters, and as a voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers and harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and elders. And no man can learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whither he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits under Alahym and the Lamb. But you know, he said he had this seal in their forehead. He said he got to seal the stars. I want y'all to understand something. The 144 the ones he grabbed first. But he also, we read this other day, don't touch the oil and the wine. Same thing you see in Ezekiel. He says, seal my servants who sigh and cry by the abominations that they see. You know why this is the case? Because he said the dead of Mashiach shall rise first. We don't sorrow as others who don't have no hope. Those that belong to him will be sealed before he works his wrath. See, we got to understand something, that we need to have ourselves sealed before the man returns. If we don't have ourselves sealed before the man returns, then this man going to work wrath on you. Hold on, y'all. You a day late in the dog show.
Chicken wings?
Chicken wings?
Nah, Five Guys. It's a fry?
The chair's broke.
Let me taste.
We want to hop a chair from out of there.
Come on at the Job now.
Boys, the one over there behind me.
So let's look at the other thing when he said he spread alone Alahym. What we got this? What do y'all think that verse 10 is about when this man tells you who he does great things past finding out and wonders without number? Then right behind that he said he go by me and I see him not. He pass on also. I perceive him not. Let's look at John chapter 20. I got to roll it out. It's 12 minutes to 10.
I'm about to say
John
that
chapter
sound
20.
With that song somewhere early. If you can understand.
Yeah, I understand. John chapter 20. John chapter 20. About verse 30. He said, many other signs truly did Yahushua in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you might believe that Yahushua is the Mashiach, the son of Alahym, and that believing you might have life through his name. Because that's why he sit back and say he does works without number. See, people try to sit back and try to number every single, and that goes back to what I was telling you before. This man don't got to tell you every single solitary thing that he do. Do you know that we would never be able to get a full comprehension of every single solitary thing this man done did?
Like I say, it's many miracles written not.
That are not written in this book. That's what we just read in John 20. There's many signs that this man did in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book.
That makes me think about it in our own lives too. You know, you can't remember everything y'all done did.
Now, indeed, but see, it ain't even just remember. It's so much stuff. It ain't even that y'all don't remember. He just didn't tell you. He just didn't tell you. I told you what you needed to know. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way people say, bump what you ask me. I tell you what I want you to know. See, I'll show you another example. Go to the book of Revelation. And Daniel chapter 12. Book of Revelation, man. Probably about chapter, what is it, 10? and 1. Look at what he told this man right here. And I saw another mighty Malachim come down from Alahym, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet pillars of fire. What y'all think this could mean? See, I see another mighty Malachim. He come down from Alahym, clothed with a cloud. If you sit back, you know that's the stuff in Ezekiel, right?
Yeah.
You know that's Ezekiel chapter 1, right? It was another aspect in Ezekiel chapter 10 we ain't finished. That reminds me on that we had to come back and knock that on out. Don't you know the master coming back clothed with a cloud, clothed in Alahym? Because he's going to be clothed in an eternal garment. Then he say he got a rainbow upon his head. Well, what the rainbow is? That's the covenant. Why is it upon his head? Because it's sealed in his forehead.
And in that cloud, like I said, that's how I'm coming back in the cloud.
Then he say his face was as it was the sun. What happened when the master went up on the mount in Matthew 17?
Face on.
Like a sun, like the sun.
Day-star.
You know what I'm saying? Because in him was light, and the light was the life of men. Then he sat back and told you, and his feet were pillars of fire. And didn't he tell you that fire looked amber in color? Brown. He said he had his hand, a little book open. And he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth. Now he said, and he got a little book open. So you know what it's talking about right there? See, that's that Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1, right? But we're going to read that in a minute. And he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roared. And when he cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. Listen when he say he cried with a loud voice when a lion roared. Don't you know the book say in Jeremiah, he say as a lion roar and abase himself for no one? Habakkuk is the lion from the tribe of Yehuda. And it say he going to come back with a shout and the trump of the Malachim. Why is he coming back with a shout? Because the dead of Mashiach going to rise first. Why you think he got a little book open? It's the book of the life of the Lamb. Who else got a book to open?
It will be a little book because many won't be saved.
Look at he say in verse 4 though. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from Alahym saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered and write them not. Because there's many wonders which he do that you don't know about. You understand what I'm talking about? The 7 thunders is uttering something. He told him, be quiet. Then he told him to be quiet, my part. He told John, don't you write that down. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he told him to write it down. Now take that back. He told him seal it up. That ain't for you to know. That ain't for them to know. You can know what they said, but ain't nobody else gonna know. That's why he said they are which do great things past finding out. Yea, wonders without number. Don't you realize it had to be things that you trying to find out? You ain't gonna never find it out. You know how many niggas want to try to find out what them 7 thunders said? You can keep on looking, you ain't gonna know. You'll probably have niggas pull up a book. See, this right here is the book where John wrote what the 7 thunders said. When it said clearly right here, he told it, man, seal that up. That ain't for them to know. Daniel chapter 12. Look at verse 1 though.
When I was looking at that Sons of Thunder, I ran into that, and I'm like, oh well.
That's why David told you I don't exercise myself in things too high for me. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm going to tell you what a lot of bruised problem is. They feel like they supposed to know everything y'all know, and they'll go on a great journey and mission to figure stuff out, and they end up telling lies inadvertently. And their desire to expound on what son is talking about. I ain't talking about outright intentionally telling a lie, but in the desire to express this information or to find something out. Everything ain't for you to know. He said, at that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince which stand for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble since as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. You know, a lot of people, you see that they're written in the book, and he got a book in his hand, and when he come back with that book in his hand, he roars. Don't you realize that's the same token when he say the master come from Alahym? He coming back from Alahym with a boat, in a cloud, with fire. You know what? Let me sit back. Let me look at something real fast. Because we reference it. Do I got time? It's 6 minutes to 10. Do I got time? Now, we already know Matthew 26, right? He said he gonna come with a cloud, right? Then we sit back and look at it, and as a rainbow was upon his head.
Yeah. Wrapped in the cloud.
He's wrapped in the cloud. He's bringing the covenant with him, because we read last night in Hebrews chapter 9, he coming the second time without sin under salvation. He coming to confirm and finish the covenant to bring you into the land. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't got time. And as we'd already established, Matthew 17, face like pure sun, but then feet as pillars of fire. And remember, it said his feet going to come down, and one foot on the sea, right foot on the sea, left foot on the earth. And he say his feet will end up where? On the Mount of Olives. And he said his feet are going to be as pillars of fire, because he coming to burn up everything. So
you got a flame sword and flame feet.
Burn it all up. But it also showing you like this here, because I say, when you go look in Ezekiel, it describes that color of fire as amber, which is really more of a brownish red.
And his His eyes are flames of fire.
His eyes are flames of fire. His eyes are flames of fire because you've kindled a fire in me that can't be quenched. I'm coming to execute this wrath, like we just already read in Job, which he said, I have immersion to be immersed with. Who am I if that fire already be kindled? Because the Father already told you in Deuteronomy 32, you kindled the fire in my anger, which shall burn to the lowest hell. So when he coming back, he coming with that rage and anger of the Father in him. Look at verse 2, Daniel 12, right? And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Drop on down here to about verse 10, though. I'm sorry, verse 8. Look at what he told. He said, I heard, but I understood not. Then I said, oh my master, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. It's many wonders I done worked in their time without number. He didn't even understand. He said, man, it ain't time for you. Don't even worry about understanding and knowing that. You ain't see Daniel say, I must know.
Yeah.
Man told him, hey, man, don't go your way. I'm going to seal that up. It ain't for you to understand and know that. He said, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. You understand something, right? 1 John 5:20. He said, the wicked shall do wickedly and not understand. Well, what's going to make a man wicked? Because you did. He said, if you believe Moses, you would have believed me because he wrote of me. He said, if you don't believe his writings, how you going to believe my words? You know, you are desperately wicked when you don't believe what that man say. That's why he told you, harden not your heart. These people were wicked in his eyesight. They didn't believe him. So that's why you hear people sit back. I want y'all to clarify something. I'm going to clarify something. I done told y'all this before. I'm going to told y'all this before, and I'm going to say it again. Just because you don't understand a particular topic does not make you wicked. He say the wicked will not understand, which means they won't understand the plan in its whole entirety. You know what I'm saying? Not, I don't understand what this means. That's totally different scenario.
They say we shall know in part and prophesy.
Yeah, but see, that's a whole, but I'm talking about an individual. That's a whole totally different. You have some people that might feel like I'm wicked because he said something or went over something and I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that you're wicked. You're wicked when you don't understand any of it. You know what I'm saying? When it sounds foreign to you and now you're looking to try, that's when you're wicked. It ain't like, I don't understand how that relates. I don't understand what that means. Why you think the master, after you broke this, they said, y'all understood all these things? And it was sometimes that they would come to him later and say, what did you mean by this? Do you know what I'm saying? And he told them. That didn't mean that they were wicked. I didn't understand this. So it's a hard saying. I didn't understand it. The scribes and Pharisees didn't understand any of it because they were wicked. That's why he say the wicked will not understand. And what are the wise? But those that have kokma or the skill in war. And why were they wise? Because the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. In order to receive a man knowledge, you got to hear his voice. To hear his voice, you got to believe him. You know what I'm saying? Just understand that there's a difference. 1 John 5:20. And we know that the son of Alahym is come. So the first thing you're going to have to know is that you're going to know that the man had to come in the flesh. And have given us an understanding. And then you would have to understand that you've been fed with understanding of how the scriptures are about him and how it behooved him to be killed and to be resurrected on the third day. That the plan of salvation for the redemption of mankind was worked through him, that you might receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh in eternal life through his name. And that we may know him that is true, and that we are in him that is true, even his son Yahushua HaMashiach. This is the true Alahym in eternal life. That's probably Kira right there. Come on back to Job now. It don't matter. We about to knock him on out anyway. So when we look at verse 11, he said, he go by me and I see him not, and he pass on also and I perceive him not. What y'all think that means?
That's when they came and he was speaking with them.
They didn't know who he was.
Until he broke their bread and he vanished.
They didn't know who he was. He walked right past him a couple times. They said, we thought he was the gardener. It was a couple times he popped up on them. They didn't even perceive. You got to realize Mary walked up on him and say, have you seen such and such? See, he went right on by him and they didn't perceive him and they saw him not. Well, you know what? He go right by people all the time when the word is preached of him and they perceive him not. That's why Paul told you that same thing. He say the veil of Moses is still on their hearts. He said the same thing in Acts. He said y'all fulfilled the scriptures killing this man even though he would preach to you every Shabbat day. He went right by you. You perceived him not. Whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed and who have believed our report? He said they didn't perceive him. Went right on by him.
Is that because y'all didn't allow them to see?
Because their hearts were hard and they never believed in the first place to see. That's why he said, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed me. Because he wrote of me. He said, if you don't believe Moses, how you going to believe my words? Because they never believed Moses. And that's that what gain or profit. See, they couldn't get a gain or a profit because they didn't believe it.
You talking about his disciples or the Pharisees?
You talking about
The people, period.
anybody? Yeah.
Period. Period. People don't actually believe it. What has a man... See, sin is deceitful. You know what I'm saying? See, these people sin with their lack of faith because they felt like they would be justified from the burnt off. That's why the Pharisees say, I tithe twice a week. I give this here and I do this here. And I ain't like them now. Because he feel like now it's reckoned according to debt. And it's not a free gift. Because you feel like this man owe you this because what you doing.
Yeah.
Now you lift it up in your heart to think you better than this man when you just as, if not more wicked than he is.
And then Haya came and then he came last, got the same wage as the other man.
So you hear this stuff and you lack understanding. You don't understand it because you're wicked. See, a lot of people say a lot of things. You know, niggas talk greasy all the time. And most people feel like when you know a lot about the word that you think you better than somebody. I know most brews think like this. And unfortunately, most brews flex on people like that. You know what I'm saying? Most brews get that. You especially them niggas who just get in the word. They done watch a few YouTube videos. Now they jump out their own people. They get lifted up and they look down. See, a lot of people thinking they might look down on them because like, oh, look at this stupid nigga right here. But it's really the embodiment of a mentality and a thought process of a nigga who you know stupid because he lifted up in pride. And then you know don't know what you're talking about. And somebody trying to pull your coattail to put you up on some game and you don't even want to get put up on the game. Because you feel like you already own game. That's what happens when I sit back and tell you, like, if you believe the gospel, the law, you hit people with the law so hard, and they look at you, and the nigga know, he say, man, you coming at me. The master told you that at John 7. He say, y'all coming at me with this stuff. He said, don't none of you keep it. So then dudes look at it, see, can't nobody keep that. He didn't say nobody couldn't keep it. He said, you niggas don't. You know what I'm saying? You don't because you don't actually believe in what. So when you don't believe it, you try to find loopholes and ways to get up out of stuff, or you craft stuff to justify what you're doing, make yourself feel better about yourself. That's what the scribes did. That's what your forefathers did. That's why he say they changed the ordinance if they done transgressed the covenant. Nigga, that ain't just no Gentiles or no heathens doing that. Nigga, you did it. How did they change the ordinance? He told you that in Matthew 15. You say, hey man, you can disrespect your mother and father and bring an altar and say it's a gift, therefore you straight. Change the ordinance. That ain't what that man told you. You doing this stuff how you want to do it. What was it, Job 9? Matter of fact, it's 10:04, man. Hallelujah for y'all. Shall we start right there, man? Let me just pick it up on the route. I didn't want to go that long. I got an hour now.